Dead Sea. Well, at least the box art cover is quite nice. So let me give you an idea of how I think the pitch for this film went. I know, let's make a movie about a sea monster. However, we won't really make it about a sea monster, and we won't really barely see the sea monster at all in this film. What it's actually going to be about is a small town, the people in it, and how they sort of sacrifice someone every generation to this monster. And it's really going to be about their lives of the people in this town, how they decide who's going to get chucked in the water and sacrifice this monster. Doesn't that sound like a brilliant film that everyone's going to want to see? No, it doesn't. But that's pretty much what you're going to get with this movie. Now, I was really disappointed, I have to say, because I actually was quite a big fan of these kind of aquatic horror films, and this one I kind of saw was coming out a little while ago, and I was quite keen to see it. I quite like even the kind of cheapy B movies that you kind of get the shark attacks and things like that. Yes, I know they're a bit crappy, but I still kind of like them. However, this one was very, very disappointing, and I'm sad to say, like I said, there's really not about the sea monster at all. What you've got is, for some really inexplicable reason, every 30 years, the townspeople in this kind of small American town basically sacrifice one of their townsfolk to this creature that lives in this lake. And it's kind of basically a giant lamprey. Now, if you've seen what a lamprey looks like, they're pretty horrific. So it's kind of a good idea to make that the kind of the monster. But you don't really get to see it, to be honest. I mean, you get, there's not even a money shot in this film. There's kind of, you'll see a quick flash towards the end, and that's kind of it. But other than that, you're going to get a couple of attacks throughout the film, but you won't really see anything. Just kind of bubbles and swirling water and what looks like maybe a tentacle, but barely see anything. Like I said, a couple of flashes of shots towards the end, and that's it. And what the story actually here is, there's kind of this group of kind of guys who have, you know, dressed in sort of camo gear and hang around with their beards, and basically how they kind of want to sacrifice this kind of particular woman who sort of left town some time ago and has come back, and basically that's it. And there's some really kind of like extended backstory to one of these guys. Who cares? Who cares? Don't know why they have this sort of segment in the Middle East when he's kind of in the forces. One of these kind of like Kia, the guy's name is. He's kind of basically a bad guy. Completely could have cut that out. You basically got the guy who was Frank the Bunny from Donnie Darko in a kind of cameo in that segment, and his name's actually top billing on some of the kind of posters I've seen, and he's in it for about 90 seconds, I would say. So don't be fooled by that. So it's just a bizarre film. Like I said, the actual premise of this film is just boring. It's just boring. You're not interested in these characters. It's kind of fairly poorly acted, I have to say. This a kind of, you know, it's not, I have seen worse, I suppose, in kind of cheapy B movie films, but there are some quite poor instances of acting here. But just on a technical level as well, the sound mixing is horrible. There's a lot of time where the kind of the background music will be so loud, it just kind of drowns out the kind of what's being said. Not all the characters, admittedly, but some of them. The main bad guy, Kia, kind of mumbles his lines, and you can barely hear what he's saying, especially when they have this kind of like sometimes this backing music playing as well. It's just a very amateurish film. Obviously, it is a low-budget film, and it's a shame that I guess maybe it wanted to try and do something away from the kind of traditional horror film, which I can maybe understand. There's obviously a lot of these kind of creature features where you just basically have this sort of, you know, creature turn up in a lake or whatever, and no one kind of believes it, and blah de blah. I mean, we have seen that script, you know, many times before. So I'll give props to a certain degree for trying to do something a little bit different. But what they've done here is just not very interesting. No one really cares about these characters. You know, the bad guys get more screen time than anyone else, and they're basically, they're not likable like anti-heroes. These are just dicks. You know, unlikable characters played by bad actors with badly written dialogue. So unfortunately, there's nothing to really recommend this film other than, I guess, a German trying to do something a little bit different with the ideas here. Like I said, lampreys, if you've seen them in real life, they're kind of gross. It's probably a good idea to make a horror film about them. I can understand that. So I'm going to give this movie a 2.5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think? Leave me a comment, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.